look, I mean, it was a big choice to make, and I'm very happy with the way that things have gone at the moment. I think we've also got to give Temba some time as well to find his feet. I think that's only fair. As I said, the preparation's been fantastic. The way that he's spoken to the guys. Temba's a nice guy, so it's not going to be difficult for him to form relationships with players. So yeah, let's give him some time to find his feet. I think it's very exciting times for him, for us, going into this short period now, with the first series that he's got as captain. So we were very much looking forward to it. We've had some good team chats. Last night we revisited our value system, and it's all very exciting times going ahead now. Just looking forward to get on the field and playing.
Ken, followed by Nathan.
Thanks, Sips. Hello, Mark. How difficult is it to balance the fact that the last time you guys played, the team whitewashed Australia, and obviously you probably want to reward those players, but it is a year ago, and things like form change. How difficult is it in selection to balance that, and what sort of side of the argument have you come out on?
Well, I don't think it's an argument, Ken. I think we're quite fortunate, to be honest with you, because we're sitting in a position now where a lot of guys were arrested at that particular time. There were 1 or 2 injuries as well. As you said, it was a long time ago. So, you can take that confidence through in the sort of thought process and where we were and where we finished off. But we've got a full selection of squad members now. So, by right, those guys who come back, they were arrested at that particular time, maybe 1 or 2 injuries. Those guys have got to fill those spots again. We also have to take form into consideration. Guys that have been playing good cricket, guys that have been playing a lot of cricket. There are also a couple of guys who have come back from injuries who maybe haven't, without COVID times, they probably would have had to have played some sort of game to prove their fitness. We haven't had that opportunity to put the guys through that. So, yeah, we'll make selections on good, sound cricketing sort of background, and we feel that it's nice to have a full squad to select from, a full strength squad to select from. The reverse of that is that we feel that before we maybe didn't have the depth in our squad, but I think we've shown that the guys that we've given opportunities to have performed really well, and that's why we're sitting with a nice headache. And some tough decisions for those guys, who have done well given those opportunities. I think the conversations that we have with them are very important, and they understand that, when these guys do come back after being rested, they are first in line, and it's just a matter of waiting for your next opportunity.
Thanks, Bouch. Nathan, followed by Telford, Fahad, and Huzaifa.
Thanks, Sips. Obviously, you had time off now with the purchase duty, and many national players were involved in different domestic formats. With that in mind, can you briefly give us your review on the standard performances in the domestic leagues? Thanks.
So I think we start off with the T20s. I don't think the cricket was as free-flowing as what everyone wanted it to be, as exciting. I think we've got to look at the conditions. The conditions weren't really conducive to some high-scoring games and probably the sort of attacking brand of cricket that we wanted to see. But I don't think it was a bad thing at all. I think that having a look at T20 cricket, where we're going now, we're playing in a lot of subcontinent conditions. There's a T20 World Cup in subcontinent conditions. So the guys that came through have obviously put their name forward in the hat for selection, going into this next sort of phase of a build-up to a World Cup. So, and these are the conditions that we can expect in India. So I don't think it was a bad thing. Maybe from the viewers, it wasn't as exciting. But I think it just depends how you look at it. That the guys who really perform well in slow conditions and turning conditions came to the top, which is good to see. The 4-day crickets, there was some really good cricket played, and I think at times a little bit of poor cricket played as well. I think we all understand that we need to put a lot of hard work into our cricket in order to get us back where we should be. So there is a lot of work, and a lot of talk has been done behind closed doors to try to speed up that process as well. It is difficult in these times. We want to see SIA tours. We want to see guys playing a lot more cricket. Unfortunately, that comes with a lot of other things that are required, and a lot of finances, which are a little bit tight at the moment. So I think it's just work in progress, and the off season is going to be important for us to knuckle down and try and get closer to where we want to be as a South African cricketing group.
Telford?
How's it, Mark? South Africa don't often play at home in April. Have your preparations this week given you any inkling as to what the conditions might be like?
Yeah, that's why I'm wearing a tracksuit top. That's a couple of the guys have picked up a bit of flu. The change of season. We usually around this area, and it's very hot. I mean, it has been hot during the day, but it does get chilly at night. I think from my experience, I've been up here and coached at Titans. The colder it gets, the slower the wickets get. Although in saying that, the wicket does look pretty good. There hasn't been a lot of cricket played on these wickets throughout the season, obviously because of COVID times. So the wickets are probably a little bit more fresher than what they would be at this time of the season. With the changing in weather, will it affect us? Or the day-night games? No, the day games. So I'm expecting it to still be good conditions. With the history behind playing this time of the year, it might be a touch slower than what we're used to.
Fahad?
Hello, Mark. This is Fahad from cricketholic.pk, Pakistan. My question is regarding inclusion of Markram in South Africa Limited Over squad. He has been in superb form since last year in red ball cricket, score runs in Pakistan, and recently 945 runs for Titans in the recently concluded 4-day franchise cup in South Africa. Will he able to transfer his red ball performance into the limited overs format? Thank you.
Well, I hope so. I think, if you've been watching South Africa domestic cricket, and you'll understand, and also international cricket of late, you'll understand how good a player he is. So I think it's his inclusion in the one-day format is really us just saying, well, you are that good that we do believe that, if given an opportunity to try and resurrect your one-day career, now's the time to give the opportunity, because he is as you say, is in good form. He scored a lot of runs. He had a bit of a funny sort of start to his one-day career. Got a few games and then was named captain, and was that the right call at that particular time? Well, we don't know. So, he's got a very clear sort of direction now of the way that he's got to go out and play. His job is to go out there and score runs and bat the way that he's been batting in our domestic season as well. If you can play anywhere near that sort of level of cricket, then he's only going to be a good find for us in our one-day competition or white ball cricket. He's certainly one of those players that when he's in form, he really stands out. And we see him as a potential match winner, come a 2023 World Cup. So we need to get him into our side, and this is the first step to doing that. Obviously, he's got to perform, like everyone else. So hopefully, he can do that for his own sake.
Huzaifa?
Hello, Mark. This is Huzaifa from Pakistan. Mark, my question is that, as you know, that some players will be leaving for IPL. So how hard will it be for you, being in the management, to choose a team for the upcoming matches? And moreover, some Pakistani people are playing very good. Like you get Babar Azam, Shaheen, they're in super good form. You recently had a series with them. So which player do you think has a threat for you, being a South African opposition? Thank you.
So to answer your first question, yeah, a couple of guys are leaving for IPL. We've known this for quite some time. So at our selection meeting when we met up in Joburg, we planned for that. The BCCI and the CSA have had a long-standing agreement to release players for IPL. It didn't quite work out with the scheduling now because of COVID reasons. I think there are pros and cons to that. Yes, unfortunately, we won't be able to have those guys for selection, after the second one-day international and also the T20s. It's not ideal for preparation going into a World Cup year, but I think you've got to take the positives out of it as well. These guys are going to be going to India and playing in a good competition, a strong competition against strong opposition. So, they're also going to be getting first-hand information about the different venues that they're playing at in India. Playing against players that they probably will meet up against in the T20 World Cup as well. So that's the positive side of it. And different story if they're going on holiday. They're not going on holiday. They're going out there to play in a good, strong competition. And it gives us opportunity to have a look at a couple of the guys who, maybe could get opportunities to put their hands up going forward into a World Cup year as well. So those are the pros and cons of it. It is what it is. Your second part, your question, Pakistan, as we've seen, have got some very dangerous characters. Baba Azam, his record speaks for itself. A guy like Rizwan, had a very good series against us. They've got a lot of dangerous players. But we are in our conditions now, so we do take a lot of confidence in being in our conditions. We're not too worried about where they are. We've set our set of plans about to try counteract their strengths, but also attack their weaknesses as well. But as I've said before, we're in a phase now where we're really focusing on the brand of cricket that we're playing, and not too much on the opposition. We feel that if we get our brand of cricket right and the guys can stay nice and hungry and score the runs and take wickets, then we'll compete with any team in the world.
Thanks, Bouch. Up next is Kanyiso, followed by Usman and then Zaid. Reminder, guys, please to ask one question at a time so that we'll be able to do a second round with others if we do still have time. Thank you.
How's it, Mark? A bit of my spark was stolen from the previous Markram question, but you had a front row seat to his performances in the 2017, 2018, and 2018, 2019 Momentum One Day Cup series, where he was pretty much piling on the runs. And he mentioned in yesterday's press conference that he needs to make a few mental tweaks. Are you able to just take us into just privy into the conversations that you've had with him in terms of how he just needs to adjust his mental setup for limited overs cricket?
Yeah, I think, sometimes when you come in as a youngster in white ball cricket, red ball cricket, where he's really taken well to, he's just got the opportunity to go out and bat. And it's not like he's rushed or anything like that. I think the mindset with white ball cricket is that sometimes if your character is such a humble sort of character, which Aiden is, he sometimes feels if he's not scoring at 140 strike rate, he's holding up the team in some sort of way. I think, if we're honest, a guy like Aiden, and there's certain players in our side, a guy like Quinny as well, if they go out and score 100, there are not many players who are going to be able to outscore them. So the mental adjustment for me is how do we get Aiden into that mindset that he goes into bat with when he plays at franchise level. So it's something that we have addressed with him. Hopefully that can click very, very quickly, and we can get some big runs. I think he's sort of maybe 1 or 2 knocks away from really understanding the way that he can sort of tick in white ball cricket and in one day cricket in particular. So we've had those conversations. Aiden needs to just go out there and, if Aiden's batting in the 40th over, he's probably got to 100 or very close to 100 at a run of ball. That's just the way that he plays. He's nice and aggressive like that. We've been working on a couple of extra shots with not only him, but the rest of our batting lineup as well, to give them different options. So yeah, and then if he bats after 40, we've seen what, as you said, in 2017, 2018, what he can do towards the back end of innings. So that'll only stand us in good stead. So hopefully he can take that mindset and put it into international cricket and not feel pressurized like he probably has been guilty of in the past when he first got an opportunity to bat for South Africa.
Usman?
Thank you.
Hello, Mark. This is Usman. My question is, what Pakistani bowlers can pose a threat on South African batting lineup? That there is Shaheen Shah Afridi and Haris Rauf, Hassan Ali. They all are very exciting young bowlers. So do you have any plans about them? Because there is so much discussion about Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan. So can you share some thoughts about the Pakistani bowling lineup?
Yes, I'm sure that they would be loving the fact that they've got a few probably more seamer friendly conditions to come up to. There's a little bit of bounce, a bit of pace here, historically in the half veld. But bottom line is, you got that pace, you got that bounce. As a lot of the people who are on this call now will know that if you get the ball in the right place, it can be nice. But if you get it wrong, you can travel as well. So I think, from both sides, there's some good pace and there's some nice matchups between the two teams. You still got to hit your areas though. So as I said before, we've spoken about them. We know what they're all about. We're aware of the strengths that they've got. We're more looking at how we can attack them in their weak spots. Bottom line is we can talk all day. Ultimately, the game is about bat and ball and who rocks up on the particular day. So if it's their day and they're hitting their straps, they're going to be difficult to face, the two that you mentioned, because they got some pace, got some bounce. But if it's not their day, then we need to capitalize on that as well. So we'll see how it goes on game day.
Zaid, and then we're going to finish off with Firdos, Nathan, and Ken.
Hi, Mark. Australia recently pulled out of South Africa tour. Pakistan is coming with a full-strength squad during a pandemic. Don't you think it's disrespectful to Pakistan that you decided to let your main players go to IPL during the series? And would South Africa have been fine if Pakistan decided to leave their main players like Babar Azam, and their broadcasters would have been fine?
Well, I don't really think that's a question that I can answer. I think that's more above me because I didn't make the decision. As I said before, though, it's been a long-standing agreement with the RPL, with BCCI and CSA. I think it could be in a document as well, that our players are released to go to India. So that's all I can really say on it. I wasn't involved in that decision making, but I do know that there is some sort of agreement and a contractual agreement in that that we're just upholding. That's all I can really answer about that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bouch. Firdaus?
But you've got a lot of players who can bat in the top, probably 3, even 4. Have you made any decisions as to where someone like Temba will bat? Or, I mean, you don't have to tell us who's going to play, obviously, but even like Aiden Markram, Yanaman Malan, how are you juggling that?
Temba will probably bat 3. Yeah, Aiden, for me, I see him as a guy. Look, we've had meetings and we've discussed where we are at the moment. You know, we've sort of picked a squad that we feel is going to be in line with, you know, selections going forward in 2023. That's where we're at the moment. Obviously, along the lines, we want to win as well, because that's important, probably more important right now. We are prepared to juggle around a couple of positions and to see where the balance is going. Up front, you probably see a guy like Aiden going in up front rather than batting 3-4. Can he bat 3 or 4 in the future? Yes, I think he can. I think he's one of those sort of players. But right now, we'll probably stick with giving guys opportunity where they've really done well for their franchises. So, yeah, you'll probably see Aiden up front and Temba 3.
Nathan?
Mark, from the last international white ball series, the Proteas have featured in, which was the Pakistan T20 series, fact checked. Will there be additional staff members brought into the side?
Sorry, can you just repeat that question?
Will there be any additional staff members brought into the side?
For where? I didn't get the first part of the question.
No, I'm saying after the last white ball series you guys played in. From there, have there been additional staff members brought into the side?
No. There hasn't been, no. Other than a masseuse.
Okay, thank you.
Am I right, Sipokazi?
Spot on, yeah. And finally, Ken.
And I think Prasanna being replaced. But Mark, sorry.
Before Pakistan.
Was it? Yeah. Mark, you mentioned players not being able to prove their fitness before the series, and I guess one of the main guys there is Andile Patlakwaya, who got injured a while ago and hasn't played. Can you just give us an update on his fitness, please?
Yeah, Andile, I mean, obviously he got injured in the T20 series, a domestic competition. You know, he's been doing his recovery and all that type of stuff. Ideally, we'd have liked for him to play some sort of a game to prove his fitness. In these times, it is difficult. So we put him through a fitness test today as well. And he passed his fitness test. He's done what he can to try and make himself available for selection. As a player, you can only do what you can do. I mean, if there's no cricket that's on, then there's no cricket, unfortunately. So we can't hold that against him. But yes, he has been past fit to play today.
And Bouch, we've got one more question from someone who's been struggling with connectivity. He's asking if you have any concerns at all overall in the white ball format from a team perspective, and what kind of work have you been doing to ensure that those concerns are corrected?
No, I don't think we've got any concerns. I think if you have a look at our last one-day series, I mean, we played really good cricket. We beat Australia 3-0. But in saying that, that's quite a long time ago, and probably a different-looking team, different-looking 11. I think there's a lot of things that we've been working on just in general, just to try and upskill players. at nets, we've tried to encourage batters, especially to spin, looking forward at where we're going now, how many tours we've got, sort of subcontinent conditions going into a World Cup sort of year, this year and next year. So spin has been something that I've really been looking at, and just giving guys different options to score 360 around the field. That's going to take a bit of time. You don't just put a guy into net and teach him how to play a reverse sweep or play this shot, play that shot, and then they go and do it in the game. I think they need to get some good confidence from it, a lot more repetition, understanding what the technical side of it is as well. And then hopefully they can take that into nets and then have the guts to try it out in a game. And if it comes off in a game, then they've added to this sort of repertoire of cricket shots. Also from a bowling perspective, we've got pace, so we've got to understand that in those middle periods in one-day cricket, we've got to pick up wickets. So from 11 to 40, it's not about just going into a sort of automatic zone of just landing the ball in the area and just waiting for things to happen. I think we want to be nice and aggressive. We want to be guys who make the play rather than sit back and wait for a play. So hopefully we've spoken about it. Hopefully you'll see a couple of our quicks really running in and trying to be nice and aggressive and pick up wickets in the middle period. I think that's where you probably nowadays win games of cricket in international cricket, is if you can pick up wickets in that middle period. And we believe we've got the firepower and the spinner to be able to do that in that period of the game. So hopefully that happens.